Ladies and gentlemen, I think it's a complete disgrace that people are evicted during a pandemic. And what is even more shameful is many of these folks are very ill when they get evicted. They have COVID. So you're not just throwing people out that didn't pay their rent or fell behind on rent. You are now throwing out people that are seriously ill and not caring at all. So this came out on Curb, and this is the New York Magazine, an article from that magazine. So this is, oh wow, December 1st, 2020. You would assume that getting kicked out of a house, whether you're a renter or as a homeowner in the midst of a global pandemic, would be incredibly dangerous. And a new study confirms it. It is dangerous. Ladies and gentlemen, this government should have given some kind of assistance to landlords in this country and renters during this time of the pandemic. And to me, when you are throwing people out that are infected with the virus, you are just adding fuel to the fire, a fire that America has yet to get under control. You know, they seem to think this vaccine is going to be the be all of everything. And I'm telling you, it is not going to be what you think. It's not. So, ladies and gentlemen, a researcher led by Catherine Leaf Heat of UCLA published a paper Monday asserting that evictions between the beginning of the pandemic and the CDC's national eviction moratorium in September led to 433,700 excess COVID 19 cases and 10,700 additional deaths. And these were people that died after getting evicted. The racial and economic disparities of the pandemic have been well documented, and according to the study, it is the same households that are at risk of infection. So, they're claiming it's Black and Latinx, in low income workers, but we see who's in those food lines, right? Okay, we see who's in the food lines. And it's not mostly Black and Latinx either. Okay, after an eviction, people often bunk with family or friends, or if they have no other options, go into a shelter. And that creates more points of social contact. And people are not always going into shelters. There are more people in this country that are opting just to stay in their cars. That has exploded around the country. And that's if they're lucky enough to at least even have a car. That's where they are staying. So, we know that the public health risk is why the patchwork of protections was put in place across the country back in March to stop evictions and foreclosures as COVID cases were rising and people lost work during the lockdown. Although 44 states and Washington, D.C. implemented eviction moratoriums after the pandemic hit, 27 of them have they lifted their moratoriums by September. And ladies and gentlemen, in other states where the moratorium is on, landlords are finding loopholes in the law to still evict people. So they're saying that, unless this thing is extended before December 31st, which I don't believe it will be, the study finds that, it is going to be a mess in states that are already overwhelmed by the virus. And it also includes New York City, which let a blanket of eviction moratoriums expire in October after the period of research. The study concluded. City marshals removed 2 residential tenants last week, the first evictions in the city since March, as cases filed prior to the pandemic are catching up to the deliberately slow down legal machinery. Right now, more than 14,000 New York City households are living under eviction warrants, holding, and of course, they are hoping for an extension, just like all the people that got evicted prior to them. You know, I don't care what anybody say. Nobody should be put out of their home during a pandemic. And I believe that after paying so much tax money from working out here for years and years, that's the least this government can do. The fact that they are sitting at a stalemate, in my opinion, it's more about power than helping people. See, I got the power to stop the people from having this. I got the power to stop the people from having that. I really think that's what these politicians are on. I believe they're on a power trip. That's why nothing is getting done. And it goes back to what I said. These folks that are in charge, they are not the ones that are going to take this earth to the next level in the future. These people are very stagnant in how they do things and how they run things. They don't know how to keep it moving. They tend to sit in the same spot forever and don't move things forward. But see, this is what happens when you keep the same old relics sitting in these political positions, and you seem to be content with that. But look at the end result of that. People are now being pushed out of their homes, and many are being pushed out on the streets sick. Look at all these people in the food lines and all of these people that just can't find work. These are your politicians' fault. It's their fault. You can't desire to be in a rulership position, and then when things don't go so well, you want to go silent. No, you're accountable for this. You're 100% accountable. Washington D.C. is accountable for what's going on in these streets. Period. So, ladies and gentlemen, please tell me what you think. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.